We are the change we have been waiting for. A change is brought about because ordinary people do extraordinary things. Change will not come if we wait for some other person, or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. The best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't wait for good things to happen to you. If you go out and make some good things happen, you will fill the world with hope, you will fill yourself with hope. Yes, we can. In the unlikely story that is America, there has never been anything false about hope. In the face of impossible odds, people who love this country can change it. I'm inspired by the people I meet in my travels, hearing their stories, seeing the hardships they overcome, their fundamental optimism and decency. I'm inspired by the love people have for their children. And I'm inspired by my own children, how full they make my heart. They make me want to work to make the world a little bit better. And they make me want to be a better man. If you're walking down the right path and you're willing to keep walking, eventually you'll make progress. There's not a liberal America and a conservative America, there's the United States of America. One voice can change a room, and if one voice can change a room, then it can change a city, and if it can change a city, it can change a state, and if it changes a state, it can change a nation, and if it can change a nation, it can change the world. Your voice can change the world. We don't ask you to believe in our ability to bring change, rather, we ask you to believe in yours. I believe in evolution, scientific inquiry, and global warming. I believe in free speech, whether politically correct or politically incorrect, and I am suspicious of using government to impose anybody's religious beliefs, including my own, on non-believers. What I've realized is that life doesn't count for much unless you're willing to do your small part to leave our children, all of our children, a better world. Any fool can have a child. That doesn't make you a father. It's the courage to raise a child that makes you a father. Focusing your life solely on making a buck shows a poverty of ambition. It asks too little of yourself. And it will leave you unfulfilled. No, you can't deny women their basic rights and pretend it's about your religious freedom. If you don't like birth control, don't use it. Religious freedom doesn't mean you can force others to live by your own beliefs. It's important to make sure that we're talking with each other in a way that heals, not in a way that wounds. Making your mark on the world is hard. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But it's not. It takes patience, it takes commitment, and it comes with plenty of failure along the way. The real test is not whether you avoid this failure, because you won't. It's whether you let it harden or shame you into inaction, or whether you learn from it, whether you choose to persevere. Nothing can stand in the way of the power of millions of voices calling for change. The worst thing that colonialism did was to cloud our view of our past. I have always believed that hope is that stubborn thing inside us that insists, despite all the evidence to the contrary, that something better awaits us so long as we have the courage to keep preaching, to keep working, to keep fighting. Why can't I just eat my waffle? You can't let your failures define you. You have to let your failures teach you. Our stories may be singular, but our destination is shared. While we breathe, we will hope. Enthusiasm makes up for a host of deficiencies. I suspect that God's plan, whatever it is, works on a scale too large to admit our mortal tribulations, that in a single lifetime, Accidents and happenstance determine more than we care to admit, and that the best we can do is to try to align ourselves with what we feel is right and construct some meaning out of our confusion, and with grace and nerve play at each moment the hand that we're dealt. If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer. We think of faith as a source of comfort and understanding but find our expressions of faith sowing division. We believe ourselves to be a tolerant people even as racial, religious, and cultural tensions roil the landscape. And instead of resolving these tensions or mediating these conflicts, our politics fans them, exploits them, and drives us further apart. My identity might begin with the fact of my race, but it couldn't end there. To the Muslim world, we seek a new way forward, based on mutual interest and mutual respect. To those leaders around the globe who seek to sow conflict, or blame their society's ills on the West, know that your people will judge you on what you can build, not what you destroy. To those who cling to power through corruption and deceit and the silencing of dissent, know that you are on the wrong side of history, but that we will extend a hand if you are willing to unclench your fist. Change we need. Where you are right now doesn't have to determine where you'll end up. There are people in the world who think only about themselves. They don't care what happens to other people so long as they get what they want. They put other people down to make themselves feel important. Then there are people who do the opposite, who are able to imagine how others must feel, and make sure that they don't do things that hurt people. So, she said, looking me squarely in the eye, which kind of person do you want to be?